I'll talk about looking on the bright side of things. On Monday, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo had made light of the disastrous effects of climate change, which include the melting of the Arctic, by saying this.
And sea ice are opening new passageways and new opportunities for trade. This could potentially slash the time it takes to travel between Asia and the West by as much as 20 days. Arctic sea lanes could come the 21st century Suez and Panama canals.
So that's just part of his statement. He also said that the Arctic is at the forefront of opportunity and abundance. It houses 13% of the world's undiscovered oil, which of course they're interested in, 30% of its undiscovered gas, an abundance of uranium, rare earth minerals, gold, diamonds, and millions of square miles of untapped resources, and fisheries galore. So, okay. Basically, the planet's melting, but hey, it looks like corporations are going to make an extra buck. So, yay, capitalism. All right. Now, obviously, this is a bit of a disaster. According to the U.S. Global Change Research Program, the loss of Arctic sea ice leads to warmer global water temperatures, which in turn lead to greater sea ice melting. They also note that the loss of ice increases the risk of erosion around coastlines and changes the presence of marine species in certain areas, affecting commercial fish stocks and the economies of some coastal towns. Though, of course, with enough melting, those coastal towns will likely not exist anymore. So I guess there is another bright side. You don't have to worry about the local economy if it's underwater. Now, of course, instead of trying to, mitigate climate change, Pompeo and the Trump administration are basically looking at how they can monetize the melting Arctic. According to CNN, Pompeo's Arctic policy speech largely focused on the threats of Russia and China and at what they posed on the threats they posed and the reasons. He said, "Do we want the Arctic Ocean to transform into the new South China Sea, fraught with militarization and competing territorial claims?" Basically, he also means territorial claims from other nations, not us, because we plan to do that there. See. I guess that puts into perspective the worldview of Mike Pompeo. Who cares about the devastation of the planet? We got to beat the Chinese for all those yummy resources. And let's be honest, that's what this is about. Money, resources, power. The real discussion should be about how we can preserve the delicate ecosystem that we are currently destroying. I mean, the same day that he said these remarks is the same day that the UN released a report that warned that 1 million species were at risk of extinction due to human activity. That human activity includes climate change. In his speech, Pompeo also said that President Trump was committed to leveraging resources, but in environmentally responsible ways. He said, quote, "The United States is achieving our reductions the American way, through scientific work, through technology, through building out safe and secure energy infrastructure, and through our economic growth, and doing it in a way that doesn't stifle the development with burdensome regulations that only create more risk to the environment." That statement is a gigantic load of crap. No. We're doing it, but we're doing it the American way by not actually giving a crap about the environment and only caring about the bottom lines of multinational corporations. Well, to be fair, that is the American way. Now, remember, this is the same administration that has attempted repeatedly to prop up coal, which is dying, and had also lifted a bunch of Obama-era regulations on fossil fuels. So, not only that, but they also did their best to try to stifle green energy, which, despite those efforts, is actually becoming better, more efficient, and cheaper than fossil fuel options, especially when you factor in the dangers of climate change. But now, look, I love this, right? I love the part where his solution, part of the solution, was economic growth. No, we're going to economically grow our way out of climate change. That's the solution for everything. You ever notice that? What are you going to do about low-paying jobs, Trump administration? Oh, no, economic growth. Or I should say, not just Trump administration, but right-wingers. What are we going to do about the massive debt from the tax cuts? Oh, don't worry, economic growth. What about climate change? What are we going to do with that? Melting Arctic. Don't worry, economic growth. It's their panacea for everything. It's like the magic, I don't know, magic bullet for them. Oh no, economic growth. It can do everything. Yes, let's do the thing that puts out more emissions as a way to fight emissions. That doesn't make any sense. Now look, there is one way that economic growth could help if we do it responsibly, right? For example, doing something like a Green New Deal. Now, a Green New Deal would have over 1 million extra jobs that could, that are based on basically updating the modern economy and replacing the fossil fuel-based economy with a green energy-based economy, modernizing homes to be more energy efficient. There's lots of jobs and economic growth to be had doing that. But, something tells me that is not the Trump plan. It's an admission, by the way, that they don't actually have a plan. It's, other than, of course, make as much money as possible while the planet burns. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know how I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.